Many people smell water at the thought of a nice steak dinner or some barbecue ribs. So people can't go without some type of meat in their diet unless, of course, they're vegetarian or vegan. Today I will explain to you the horrors of the meat industry. I myself personally am not vegetarian. I'm not very picky about what kind of food I eat or where it comes from, but my boyfriend is. He's been vegetarian for several years. He's very adamant about it. I thought it would be interesting to see where our meat came from, and studies always consume the food that is put in front of them, but we don't question where it comes from. I'll be talking about the abuse of animals, their cruel living conditions, and how they're butchered alive. The United Nations Population Fund reported that each U.S. citizen eats about 206 pounds of meat per year, and that's the highest rate in the world. In order to feed our demanding population and make profits quickly, which everyone wants to do, is to make as much money as they can, as fast as we can. Some farmers raise and treat their livestock inhumanely by raising them on factory farms. Of course, there's always free-range farms, but there's also factory farms, which are their purpose is, since most farmers are in competition to produce more of their products quickly, they raise them in factory farms, which are where instead of giving them like a lot of room to roam, the animals are put in cages, and there's not a lot of space for them. Jennifer Wheaton Outground Factories Farms gives an example of what a factory farm looks like. She writes about one in Montana. She says more than 400 stoves are penned in individual metal crates, each with a water trowel and feed dispenser. I'm sorry, I don't know how to spell this.
There's a wheel on the bottom. It goes round and round.
Okay. The big animals can lie, but they cannot turn around. The excrements fall through the floor slats into a pit, from which it is periodically flushed outside into so-called lagoons. This is from the article Factory Farms Are the Best Way to Feed the Nation. Livestock at factory farms are not allowed to stretch their limbs or have freedom. They only have necessities to survive, which is food and water. They don't get exercise like other animals on free-range farms. They spend their lifetime in small confined cages until they are ready for slaughter. Animals don't have human intelligence. However, a study at the Rockefeller University with primates reported that animals confined to small cages over a period of time can create problems. Eventually, the primates were given Prozac to stop self-destructive behavior that they had developed from being confined. According to the Human Slaughter Act, animals reach for food when butchered with the least being stunned so that they don't feel as much pain. However, many animals like cows, pigs, and chickens aren't stunned properly, and the government doesn't do much to regulate this. This is an account of animals being slaughtered alive. I've seen thousands and thousands of cows go through the slaughter process alive. IVP Veterans Fuentes. He is a worker who's injured while working on live cattle. The cows can get 7 minutes down the line and still be alive. I've been in the side floor where they're still alive. All the hide is stripped down from their neck down while they're still alive. Their skin's getting cold, and they're being stripped. A hidden video at a Norco Ranch in Riverside shows workers swinging chickens violently by their necks to break their necks and discarding them still alive in a big pile. Sometimes when the chickens are strung up, not all of them are dead. Actually, they don't think it's a big deal for them to be alive because there's hundreds of chickens, so it's not a big deal. the birds being killed in the video were egg layers, and when they were unable to produce eggs anymore, this is how they were killed. They were thrown violently by the neck, and they're supposed to be gassed. Sometimes to save money. Many companies and their farm workers disregard the lives of the animals they raise. It is said that injured cows are often plowed by machines in order to move them out of the way while they're still alive. They're not dead. They just leave them there to die. Howard Bloom reports that an investigation showed the mistreatment of downer cows at the Hallmark Western Meatpacking Company. An investigator went undercover at one of these meatpacking plants, and he documented sick and crippled cows being brutalized in order to get them into the kill box. That's what they call it when cows are getting slaughtered, kill box. An article of the Los Angeles Times by Howard Bloom reports that hens are shown to be abused in cages the size of file drawers. They're packed and they're stacked instead of each chicken getting room to move around. They're packed in these little cage-like file-like drawers. And some hens are bleeding or have open wounds, and deer are trapped in the opening to the egg conveyor, unable to move. The farm workers don't really do much about that either. Not all farms produce farm animals, of course. Like I said, there's free-range farms. It is not my interest to say what kind of food people eat are right or wrong, because I told you I'm not vegetarian. However, I think it is important to be knowledgeable about where your food comes from and how it got there and the living conditions that animals endure in order for you to get food. And that's it.
All right, Corey, what did you think?
I thought I had a lot of good information. The structure was set up in the beginning. Just one thing, it kind of sounded like a persuasive speech versus an informative speech. Other than that, I thought it was really good, though. The visuals helped a lot to explain your argument. And overall, it was pretty good.
All right. The visualization that you have at the beginning is okay, and I thought you transitioned to the subject pretty clearly. Your topic is clear. I think you still need a little bit more focus for your specific purpose statement. You had a solid outline that you set up at the beginning, but I didn't really hear any supporting points after that, and it seemed like the material sort of ran together. We just got involved in the descriptions, and then it was the next description, and the next description, and the next description. And if you wanted to do it by animal or by the particular form of factory farming, that would be one way of making the structure clear. I did think that you included some supporting material in a couple of spots, and I appreciated your citing that information when you did. I do kind of agree with Corey that it seems to me that ultimately this is a persuasive speech in nature, because whenever you're using information that comes from undercover investigators who collected this data, there's clearly somebody's got an agenda, there's a point of view, there's an argument that's involved, and I think it changes the focus what you're talking about. I think what you need to discuss is, how a factory farm works and what characterizes, maybe distinguishing a factory farm from other types of animal ranching or raising, and that I think might have been a way to stick to the informative nature instead of talking about the abuses of the process. The abuses of the process seem to me to be underdeveloped. You describe a few things that the one place where the cattle might be alive when they're being skinned, or people are flinging the chickens, or they're twisting their necks instead of gassing them. And if there are rules that are set up and the rules are not being observed, and now you're reporting on the absence of adherence to those rules, that's definitely more persuasive in nature than informative, I think. And your goal here is to say that something wrong is being done, and even though you don't say that we should act on it, that really seems to be, kind of change the focus of the speech. I thought you got a little sidetracked as a consequence, and there's not and a little bit lost in the structure. The visuals were okay. They illustrated the points that you were talking about, so it was easy for us to understand some of the things that you're discussing. I don't care for that exit. It seems like you need to plan the exit a little bit more. We get the Porky Pig exit, and that's it. That's all, folks, and we need something a little bit better than that. All right, thank you.